Kevin Hahn. I'm the president of Level 10 Interactive web development company in Dallas, Texas. We also run the Dallas Users Group, Dallas Drupal's Users Group, and we put on 3 DrupalCamps so far in Dallas. It's a t-shirt with the first one here. So I have probably the only session here that my entire purpose is not to teach you a single thing about Drupal. All I'm going to do is teach you ways and places you can go. Is incremental learning, right? This is, some people attribute this to Confucius. Apparently it's this other guy from a long time ago who said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that's the case with all learning. This is really the case with Drupal. You just have to get in there and start working on it. It looks really intimidating at first, but if you make incremental steps and you make use of all the sorts of information that's available both on and offline, you'll get through it. So when you're beginning to learn it, I mean, some of the things you have to consider is where are you in your development? Your technical level, obviously, if you've never written a line of code in your life, writing a module probably shouldn't be your first step. If you don't know the first thing about CSS, you're probably not going to be able to just go out and hang out a theme real quick. Some people learn visually, some people learn audibly, some people read books, some people need to be around other people or pay training. So knowing a little bit about yourself and what your best method of learning and the best way to find it out is just try these different methods and see which one works best for you. As well as your project role. I mean, in Drupal, you can be a site admin, you can be a site builder, you can be a developer, you can be a themer, and there's some general, when you're starting the learning clip, there's a few things that everybody should learn, and then you sort of branch off into the sort of thing that makes more sense for you. So if you're really just first starting off, and by the way, don't bother writing down all these links. I have about 6,000 links in here. At the end, you can download the whole presentation. I've got a link for it. It has all the links. Otherwise, you're going to be writing HTTP on an awful lot in the next hour. So if you honestly don't know really anything about Drupal and what it can do, this is a really great place to start. This is the Albeit Drupal Showcase. And they have hundreds and hundreds of some of the best sites in Drupal just showing off. And it's every different industry. As you can see, sort of see, they've got them separated by industry. If you're in real estate, or if you're in medical, or if you're anything, you can go in there and you can find 100 different sites that were built. I mean, just for inspiration, this is a great place to start. There's a little bit deeper view into it. You know, there's 33 different ones just for consumer products. If you came to the summit yesterday and you saw a different talk on the government, you can see there's 243 in government. Drupal's very big in government. And some of the best sites, like energy.gov, are built in Drupal. They're just amazing what they've done. You get all kinds of great ideas from it. Our leader, Dries, has his own, on his blog, if you look at his tag for Drupal sites, he sort of keeps track ongoing of the really cool releases. Like when Twitter community came out, or Semantic community came out, or IKEA came out with a Drupal site, he will track it. So this is a good one to add to your RSS reader, or just go see every once in a while. So that gives you some inspiration looking at sites that were built in Drupal, seeing how amazing it is. But really, you know, after that, you sort of want to jump into it. And really, one of the best ways to jump into it is Drupal Gardens. Anybody ever built a Drupal Garden site here? It's really cool, isn't it, right? You just go, it's a site builder. It's like, you know, all the ISPs for years have had these really crappy site builders. Well, this is a really nice site builder. So you create an account. For those who don't know it, it's basically hosted Drupal. It's hosted Drupal 7. Create an account, and then you just start building a template. You don't have to, you know, typically with Drupal, if you're hosting it, you've got to download it, you've got to install it, you've got to set up a SQL database, you've got to make the connection between the SQL database and the site. This is hosted, it does all that for you. So if you just want to get in and play around, this is the place to start. Go pick out the features that you want. Do you want a blog? Do you want a photo gallery? Do you want one of those cool rotating headers that slides by? Just pick which ones you want. It'll build it for you. And then, I'm not very good at naming sites, but we'll go through, it takes maybe 30 seconds, borrow across, and when it's all done, you'll have a site. Now, this also has the very bottom part is letting you change the look and feel. So, as you may or may not know, Drupal is separated the theme from the actual site implementation. So, you can have all the content and all the structure of your site remain is you go pick one of these bottom level themes, and there's maybe a dozen, so there's not a huge number. And then on each one of those themes, you can do an enormous amount of customization. If you're really good at CSS, you can go through and you can change all the CSS elements. The really nice thing about DrupalCamps, when you're completely done, you can download the entire site and install that on the server. You don't have to keep it on DrupalCamps. DrupalCamps will let you keep it on there for a certain amount of time. If it's a certain size, it's free. Otherwise, they charge you $10 or $20 a month. I mean, it's a great deal. They have tens of thousands of sites hosted on here. But if you want to download it and look at it, I mean, that's a great learning opportunity. Go through, look at the views, look at the structure, where they've laid out everything, and get some ideas about how you do your own site. Another option is a lot of the themes that you purchase. So, Drupal.org has a large number of themes, and some of them are good, but honestly, theming is not Drupal's strong point as far as what's available free in the community. But for $100, $200, $50, you can buy it from anything. This is one from a site called Super Themes. And what they're doing, some of these sites now, is they give you not only the theme, but they give you the example content, the pictures, the layout, the blocks, everything. So when you download it, you actually install the entire thing out and you get a site that looks like this. If you've ever gone to Drupal.org and downloaded a theme, you've seen this great, beautiful picture of it, and then you install it, it doesn't look anything like that, right? Because the content's not there, the layout's not there. These do that. They have everything built in, so you can go and dissect it and figure out how they did it. Might be a little expensive. You can buy a $300 theme just to see how they did it, but it also is a good starting point to build your website. If you're a coder, do the same thing with a module. This is this is from my company's level 10 the SEO tools. If you want to know how to do SEO in Drupal, download these tools, dissect them. You're going to have to know PHP, but you can go through and see exactly how it's done and how SEO is done in Drupal. All right, let's move offline a little bit. So most of you maybe already have or joined a local users group in Dallas. We have the 7th largest user group in the world. We have about 350 people in it. Some of them have, I think, in San Francisco, they have 1,000 people in there. If you go to groups.drupal.org, you can find any site anywhere. There's one in Tanzania that has 12 people in it. But you can find a group anywhere you're at. You can find a group. They'll have information in the group about where they have meetups. Some of them are very regular. In Dallas, we have 2 per month. We have a newbie meetup group, and then we have a developer meetup group. And we're actually decided that wasn't enough, so we've added a 3rd one for developing results-oriented websites. So most geographical areas will have it. Now, people coming for ours, they come from Wichita Falls, they come from Oklahoma City, which, since you don't live there, you don't know how far that is, but that's like a 4-hour drive. People are coming to ours. So some of the groups are, areas are less active than others. You should be able to find something in your area, be able to hit them occasionally. Not only groups at Drupal.org, but you go to a place called meetup.com, and it's a really great place to find user groups. And not only Drupal, this is ours from Dallas Drupal, where we post all our current meetups. We post our pictures, notes, you can rate it. This is a great, if you're going to start a users group, it's a really great place to do it. Do it on groups.drupal.org, but this is a really great place to manage it. And you don't have to restrict yourself to Drupal. I mean, there's so many other learning opportunities that are peripheral to it. These are just some of the ones that are available in Dallas. Drupal is written in PHP, so if you want to become a PHP developer, it's probably a good idea to go to the PHP users group if you have one. Drupal sits on a LAMP stack typically, which is the server components and the database and web components. Maybe if you want to understand how it really works at a lower level, you go to the LAMP, the Apache LAMP group. Maybe you want to look at a really higher level and you're interested in SEO and SEM. Well, there's an SEO group. You can go in Dallas every single night just about to one meetup group or the other, and your family will either be glad or happy that you're out of the house all the time. I think you probably know a little bit about DrupalCamps that you're at one, but you probably don't know how many of them there are. There's one, again, almost every weekend somewhere. Some of them, like the Pacific Northwest, they've sort of combined Portland and Seattle and that whole area. They kind of rotate around. Bad Camp, I think, has over 1,000 people coming to it. It's enormous. Florida might be a close one, somewhat close one for you guys here. Austin is a great one. They're on their 3rd or 4th year. Drupal in the Bayou in New Orleans, if you want to come to that, we're putting that on with Neospire. Dallas Drupal is in December. That should be a lot of fun. And of course, the big camp, the big con coming up in Denver next March. So this is the location. This is a really good, this build a module, which I'll talk about in a minute. He's got a really good camp calendar if you want to be able to find where every single camp is. That's the best source that I've seen for being able to track all the camps. So maybe you're the type of person that likes to be in a structured environment for training. Well, there's a couple really good places to go for that. Acquia, the Drupal mothership, has their own course curriculum for quite a few different types of courses. And they start from anywhere from Hello Drupal, which is the highest level thing, and I think you can just get to that one for free, to Drupal in a Day, which kind of takes you through all the basics in one day. Site building is a 2-day course to really get you up to date on, or up to speed on how to build a Drupal 7 site. Theming is another 2-day course. Kind of helps if you know a little bit about web development and PHP. If you want to really get into module development, they've got that. These project management ones, I think they're still working on. They don't quite have them. But if you go to training.acquia.com events, they've got a international listing of pretty much every training event that they know about, at least. And you can go directly to the sites and sign up for them there. Another good source is Chapter 3 and Lullabot. They've sort of combined themselves together lately to do training. They're both respected training organizations. So if you go there, you'll find about theirs. I think theirs is a little bit different approach, so you may find out that some of those work out better for you than the Acquia ones. And those are the two big ones, but if you want to see pretty much everybody that has training opportunity, this is the URL for that. And they will, anybody who registers on their site and they verify it, they'll put their training information up there. And training is a really good way to jumpstart. We just came back from a week-long training event, a private training event for a company, and they flew in people all over the country to come to this. So what'd you have, 20 or 30 people there? Yeah, just spent the entire week, and you get exactly what you want. You can customize it for your needs. They kind of went off the plan a little bit. But if that's the sort of thing, paid training works for you, that's a really great way to do it. Some places, like at camps, they'll do training before or after. Sometimes it's free and sometimes it's paid. We do it in Dallas. We do the Drupal in a Day. We actually take that training and we break it up into monthly meetups that are totally free, just to get people going. Now, it takes a little bit longer to get through the process, and it's not quite as customized, but it's completely free. There's always some free option somewhere. But these are not that expensive. I mean, you're looking at $300 to $400 a day. I mean, it's not terrible. Okay, so this is really sort of the home base for Drupal documentation, drupal.org/documentation. There are just thousands and thousands of articles out there, just on every possible subject. Some of the more interesting ones would be the administration guide and the site building guide, which really take you through the basic aspects of installing a site. Now, the thing about this is all community source documentation. So your mileage may vary, right? Some of it's really good, some of it's not so good. Sometimes it's dated. Sometimes it might be, you're trying to figure out something on Drupal 7 and the only article on it is on Drupal 5. That happens a lot. But still, this is a really good home base to get started. And this is another one. This is another one, the form. And if you'll notice, the first one there, I don't know if you can read that, there's 135,000 topics right now on this one particular, and there's 500,000 posts on it. There's a lot of information on this, and this dates back years and years and years. Again, all community sourced. The list goes way down the page there. There's dozens and dozens of different topics. But you can find pretty much anything about a specific topic in there.
Dave, who is manning that support forum?
Who's manning this support forum? I'm not sure who exactly manages it. Probably somebody in the Drupal Association. I'm not exactly sure. One of the more interesting elements also of the built-in documentation is the concept of a site recipe, right? So when you're making a cake or you're baking something, you have a sort of series of steps that you go through. Site recipes are sort of like that. Say I want to build a
I want to build a YouTube type site, right? Well, there might be a recipe here for how to build a YouTube site. Again, your mileage may vary. It could be great. It could be based on Drupal 5. It could have 10 modules that have been deprecated and are abandoned and nobody uses anymore. So there's a certain amount of kind of sifting through it to see, what's good and what isn't good. All right. For each one of the modules and each one of the themes, often, but not always, there'll be a source of documentation. If you look under resources on the bottom right there, it'll say read documentation. Sometimes that link is there, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it goes to a paragraph, sometimes it goes to 100 pages. It's completely dependent on the individual developer of that module or that theme, what they write on the documentation. But if it's there, you can often find out information on it. If you're having a problem, you can go into the bug reports, search through there, see if there's already a problem that you have has already been reported, and if not, report it. Try to at least check first to see if somebody else has had it. All right. So blogs, another good source of information. Planet Drupal, drupal.org/planet is an aggregator of blogs. This is a really good place to start. They aggregate 400 some odd different blogs. Level 10's on there, Dries is on there. You have to sort of get qualified to get on it, but with 417, obviously it's not terribly hard to get qualified on it. But it gets updated. It could get updated every half an hour, every hour. This is a very continuous feed pulling from all these different sources. Just lots of good information on there to point your reader to. Another one is DrupalFire. A little bit different idea here. They cover a lot of individual bloggers, but just for a quick read, these are all individual blogs with the latest 5 things on them. And then a lot of the Dries and Webchick have their own. Earl, the creator of Views, he's got his own. Some of the better corporate ones, Node 1, Phase 2, 4 Kitchens, Lullabot, our own. You could spend a lot of time just reading information. All right. So, first thing that a lot of people go to when they're going to start Drupal is a book. This is pretty much the standard. If you're just going to start, it's Drupal 6, so it hasn't been updated for 7 yet. I believe my notes say the 7 one comes out on February 22nd, so they're a little bit behind. This was written by pretty much the reigning, or at least at the time, premier people in Drupal. It's a really excellent book, and the reason it's so good is because it sort of takes that site builder recipe approach. So you want to build a job posting board. Okay, well, we're going to go through the various steps. And then each one of the recipes builds on that. So you learn, when you're creating a blog, you'll learn 4 new things or 5 new things. And then by the time you move on to the next recipe, you'll have used those 4 things, and then you'll add on another 4 things. So by the time you get through the book, it's all very hands-on. They take you through each one of the steps. You've learned, without really realizing it, you know how to build Drupal sites. And it's all site building. There's no coding. There's not a lot of theming. But if you're going to start anywhere and you want to just sit down with a book, this is really the one to get. If you want to learn to be a themer, Emma Jane up in Canada, she's getting ready to come up with this 7 version. This is the 6 version too. But again, this is the concept of, how do you create that theme on the right? This is one that Level 10 has contributed back, and it's very nice looking. It's done by a professional themer, and one of the ways he got to the point where he was that good was the use of this particular book. If you're a developer, you probably know this series of books, Pro Drupal. This started out in 5, went to 6 and 7. Honestly, I wouldn't start with this book anymore. It's got a lot of bugs in it. I think it was rushed out for 7. Maybe if it comes out of a new version of it. But if you're 6, you're still really working in 6. The 6 one's very good. The 7 one is not that good. Really, this is sort of the leading book for 7 development right now, Module 7, or Drupal 7 module development. This is a very good book. And if you want to start anywhere on Drupal 7 module development, and really there's no point if you're just starting out to even look at 6, start with this one.
But David?
Yes, sir.
I have spent some time looking at the modules in Drupal.org, and it just appears that the vast majority of the modules that actually work are in 6.0. Am I wrong?
So the question is, the modules that are out there, are they mostly still only functional in 6? We're getting there. on 7. I think the total count of 6 modules is around 12,000, and the total count of 7 is probably 2,000 to 3,000. So a little off topic, but if you're getting ready to build a site, sort of look at the functionality you're going to need, and then go match it with available modules. Like if you need, and weirdly enough, some of the really critical ones, like the one that lets you put meta tags and meta information on your site, is not available in 7 yet.
Yeah, have you sorted by, the download, how often modules get downloaded? And you'll see that most of what has been downloaded are 6 tags.
And that's true. He's saying that most of the modules are downloaded 6, and that's true. It will be some time, but the curve is starting to turn up. I mean, it is really starting to become where it's transferring to 7. You don't, unless you really need a particular module that's on 6, you're better off starting with 7 right now, just because you don't want to have to upgrade that site from 6 to 7. And 6 support will end at one point. 5 is, people are not updating for 5 yet. If you have a 5 site, you're gonna have a serious upgrade. So unless you need that module, 7. They built a lot of sites with 7 now. Drupal Gardens is all 7. 7 is, for the most part, completely useful at this point, unless there's some module that you need. So just scope that out first. One more book to just consider. I happen to really like this book. At some point, your site, if it's a popular site, it's going to get hacked. Read this book first. I think there's a session today, too, on protecting yourself. Read this book. It'll really help you keep from getting hacked and learn how to recover afterward. These guys just sold off to, they were you ever heard the term acquisition? Where Acquia makes an acquisition. Well, they were just acquisitioned recently. Now they're the Acquia security team. So maybe you're an audio learner. Maybe you have a 3-hour commute every day and you'd like to pop something in the iPad and listen. The podcasts, there's not as many of them anymore, and some of them have started. I know even Level 10 we had some going for a while, and then we kind of don't do it as much. But these are all fairly regularly updated. The Lullabot's sort of the standard. They've got 2 different levels. They've got their general hour and a half long Lullabot podcast. Skip about 10 minutes in, because the first 10 minutes is them talking about wine and cheese and promoting Lullabot products. And after that, there's a lot of really good information. And then there's also the voices. So they will go to DrupalCon, and they will go, hey, you wrote this great module. Talk to me about it for 10 minutes. So if you just want a little soundbite, they're a little bit bursty. They'll kind of come after big events. But they've got, 200 some of those out? I mean, they've put out a lot of them. You can, if you add this to your iTunes podcast queue, it'll keep your iPod filled up for when you run or commute or whatever. Drupal Easy has one, and Acquia has one as well. The Acquia one, a little different, but still covers a lot of really good information. So everybody, this is audio, and audio is great, but really the web's starting to move to video, right? And the video choices are huge. There are so many different video choices out now. If you really want to get a good understanding of how Drupal works, and you don't mind digging in a little bit technically, this is really a great video to start with. He goes for an hour and really just goes over the entire architecture of Drupal and how it works. If you've never seen a website before, this is probably not a good place to start. But if you just want a good architectural introduction, absolutely a great video. This is something that Level 10's been working on for a while, called Tutor TV, where we aggregate only Drupal videos on the web. It's all free. We don't copy them to our server. We just create nodes with individual embedded Drupal videos in it. But it's got some really neat features. It'll remember where you were at in one. You can rate them. You can create a list of ones you want to see. A lot of really advanced features. Am I missing anything, Tom?
No, stats looks good.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is all categorized by like concepts, modules, distributions, things like that.
Right.
So you just, pretty, and it's backed by Solar, so when you pass it the search, you kind of dig down to what you're looking for.
Right. So he said it's categorized. It's really, when we put all the DrupalCon London videos on here, there's a huge rush to the site. So this is a great place to just learn about videos. If you want to spend some money, Lullabot's sort of been the video training company for a long time. They originally they would put out DVDs, and then they moved to more of the streaming module. They have 347 videos in their archive, anywhere from very basic to technical. Now, a lot of those videos are just like recordings of somebody like me at one of their Drupal sessions. But a lot of them are very professionally done with embedded screencasts. The only thing is it's $45 a month. Now, you know, if you want to sign up for 3 months and spend $130, that's a really good way to have a good introduction, a good professional introduction to Drupal. Level 10 also has a really nice, totally free video series called Getting Started with Drupal 7. And we take you through a dozen or so, anywhere from 10 to 20 minute videos on all the various features of Drupal. And these are the DVDs. Lullabot still does sell them. I don't think they're updating them as much anymore. I'm not entirely sure. But you can buy individual downloads, or you can buy individual DVDs, or you can buy the whole package for, I don't remember. I think the DVDs are $17 or $75. They've got 17 of them. This was really the standard at one point. There's a few other sites of interest. This one has kind of come and gone over the years. They seem to be doing a resurgent right now, Drupal Dojo. But they've got a few new Drupal 7 sites. When you go out and search for these, it's amazing that there'll be some that they're really updated, and then there'll be some that haven't updated it since Drupal 5. I'm really only trying to give you the best of them out there, but there's dozens of places to go out there. Mustard Seed has some really good Drupal videos, also free. You can get them on a feed burner as well, all in HD. Node One, another one of our more prominent Drupal development companies, has they have a good blog, and they also have a good learning library. If you go through their blog every once in a while, though, you'll see a post in Swedish, so can't read it all. Lynda.com is a general purpose video training company. They have, they've got about a dozen or so, they have a half dozen or so videos on Drupal. So they've got an Essential 7, Drupal Gardens. If you're already a lynda.com subscriber, and the cost is $25 a month, if you're already a subscriber, this is a really good place to start. I don't know that I would go pay $25 a month, because they just don't have that much on Drupal. But they have Photoshop, and they'll have software development, and they'll have CSS. I mean, they have thousands and thousands of videos out there, all available for $25 a month. I think it's a little bit more if you want to download like their working files. Like if you're trying to do Photoshop, they'll download a bunch of teaching files to go with it.
Do they have lots of other Drupal components like Apache and Exma, all the other stuff we need to learn too? PHP?
Yeah.
PHP and MySQL and pretty much any software you can think of, they have it.
So yeah, the question was, do they have other components like Apache and PHP? And yes, they have just an enormous amount of things out there. It seems to be a lot more focused on the Photoshop type things, but they do have other things as well. So go out there and you can search through everything. You don't have to pay to just see what they have. Go and search and see if it makes sense for you to spend $25 a month. It's not a bad deal. It's a fairly new site, DrupalCamp 24/7. They seem to be aggregating a lot of the videos on the web as well. It's a newer company, but they've done some really good work called Build a Module. Again, it's a paid service. Some of them are free. It's $29 a month, or you can buy a 400 video DVD collection for $400. Again, professionally well done, very current, very new, Drupal, mostly Drupal 7 focused. They go into a little bit more deeper how to build things than maybe some of the other ones do. A lot of the other video sites are more based on site building or solving specific problems. This one, Yada Drops, it's fairly well updated. Drupal Love, we're going down on the quality level here, but again, they do have quite a bit. Acquia has their own. The Acquia one's a little different in that they also do their all their webinars out here, so they will have maybe some more business-focused things. It won't be just real technical stuff. It'll be how to do SEO, how to do how to use Drupal Commons. There's even an interactivity with Node.js, one of the up-and-coming things used to build software systems. So you may have to register for those. I don't remember, but they've got a lot of good information out there. They do a webinar about once a week. You can register on acquia.com, and they'll just send you updates on any time there's a new webinar. A lot of them are partner-based. A lot of them are sales pitches for something or the other, but a lot of them are really good. They just had a couple good ones on using Drupal Commons, one of the distributions. And then if you really want to just go off the ranch, you can just hit up Google, Yahoo, or archive.org and just search on Drupal, Drupal videos. There is a list, that Drupal.org node site over there. That's sort of a semi-well-maintained location for all Drupal videos on the internet. It's not very well maintained, honestly. Another source is you can go to the camps and cons, go to DrupalCamp Dallas, go to DrupalCamp Atlanta, and look for the videos. Look for the topics, and usually within a certain amount of time they'll have videos. We helped put on something called Open Camp last year in Dallas. Last year. And we videotaped everything. We had 700 people. We had WordPress, we had Joomla, we had Drupal. Videotaped everything professionally, and they've been sitting on a hard drive in somebody's office for the past 13 months. So sometimes there's the best intentions to video things to get them out there, and it doesn't ever actually happen. Slideshare, you probably most of y'all know about Slideshare already, but they've got, by my count, 12,000 presentations worth of Word Drupal in it. So if you've got something specific you're looking for, somebody's probably done a presentation and posted it out on Slideshare at some point. We talked about the Drupal.org forum and the Drupal.org documentation, but these are some things that are not hosted by Drupal. Stack Exchange, I don't know if you're familiar with regular Stack Exchange, but it's a sort of a programmer's reference community thing. So you will put up a question, and then various people will give you answers on it. And there's a specific one for Drupal. It's still getting some traction. It's not that new. I mean, it's not that old. It's coming around, but it's starting to pop up. I mean, you're seeing, this is one from about a week ago, and you're seeing a few answers pop up. So it doesn't quite have the amount of information that maybe the forum has, but it's an up-and-comer. If you just want to go read interesting information about Drupal, if you're familiar with Reddit, you could waste an entire day just browsing around on Reddit. It's terrible. But if you want to go to one of their subreddits for our Drupal, there's other interesting information out there. Again, this is more of a time sink than it is a resource, but I know sometimes we'd like to go out there and kill time on Drupal. LinkedIn has some nice communities on Drupal. They've got the main Drupal group, which has got, 15,000 people on it. On the right, you'll see, if you sign up for one of these and you say, send me daily email digest, you'll see a little thing like on the right. That's one I got a little while ago. There'll be some discussions about Drupal. There'll be some job postings. If you want to find a job in Drupal, this is a good place to go because sometimes there's 10 or 15 job postings every day. You can post out your own answers, your own questions. Excuse me. All right. So we talked a little bit about distributions earlier. One of the reasons I'm kind of saving this for last is if you don't know what a distribution is, it's basically a preset of Drupal components in one package. Sort of like the theme earlier that I showed you had the theme. This would be if you wanted to be a government. If you want to build a government site, you might use something like Open Government. Or if you want to build a news site, you might build something like Open Publish. And what it does is it brings in all the usual modules and settings for a particular purpose. This is Open Publish, and this is their demo site. And you wouldn't necessarily get all the content with this. But what it does is you can download it, install it, and if it's a similar purpose to what you're trying to learn how to do, you can go dissect it and see what it is that they did. You can look at it from not only a front-end view, but you can go through and look at the views. You can go through and look and see, they put in a nice little WYSIWYG editor in here for me, and these are the fields that they put in. You can see everything that was built into that distribution to make it specific to that purpose. One of the distributions is, Ryan mentioned in the keynote, is COD, Conference Organizing Distribution. This is what pretty much every Drupal camp now, DrupalCon, builds their site with. We built ours for Dallas. They built theirs with Atlanta. If you kind of want to understand things like event management, e-commerce, how users vote on things, how you install user pictures inside of profiles, because none of this stuff just comes out of the box with Drupal. How you schedule things. You can download the COD distribution for free, install it, and dissect it. See what it is that they did to create those different things. Commons is from Acquia. It's a distribution for building a social business network. They've done some really great things. If you want to kind of see how an intranet should be built, blogs, there's a concept in Drupal called organic groups, which allows you to create separate groups that can interact individually or interact as a whole. Very powerful concept. If you want to understand how organic groups works, Commons makes good use of it. How to build a form, how to build an activity stream of, say, your Twitter feed or your Facebook feed coming through. This has got all that built in. Just download it, install it, and dissect it. You can also go to commons.acquia.com. That's what the one you're looking at right now. It's not really a sandbox site, but it's just sort of a site to discuss Commons. You can see what it looks like. You won't have admin access like you would if you were to download it, but you would have at least the interactivity, how it works. Open Scholar for academic focus. If you want to see how content aggregation is done, category tagging, project collaboration, that's all part of one called Open Scholar. Level 10, we have our own called Open Enterprise. If you want to see, again, since we've been through the SEO tools, if you want to see how SEO is done in Drupal, how to install your own WYSIWYG editor, our Drupal 7 version comes out in October. We're also introducing in our 7.1 the concept of apps. I think there's a session later today on apps. It would probably be good to go to because that's really the sort of future of adding functionality to Drupal. Originally you had modules, then you had features, now you have apps. Apps is a pre-built piece of component functionality for Drupal that you just install and it works. So this is a good one, again, to dissect. And again, all these are completely free.
Is that what Ryan talked about? Is that commerce, an app, or is it a set of features?
So the question is commerce an app? So commerce, at the moment, is a set of modules. It's a base module and then additional modules that you add to it. I don't know if they've added app support to it yet. And then he also had that distribution that he showed, like Easy Commerce or something, which is get you started. It installs the Kickstart. That was it, Kickstart. It installs maybe a dozen modules that you need to get going in commerce. So you could do it in two ways. You could have the distribution that had everything already built in, or you can install a basic one, and then you could go pull from an app server through Drupal the various pieces that you needed. For Open Enterprise, we've developed a blog one so far. Is one of the first things that we did. And if you pull it in, it brings in the content type you need for it, the views you need for it, the blocks that you need for it. You can even bring in sample content for it, all in just one click, one installation. The apps work. So apps is going to be a really big deal in Drupal. So I would definitely hit that apps one later on. But this is, if you're looking at the Drupal module list, this is, you can go through and see which modules they use to achieve the functionality that they did in their distribution. Okay. So information on distributions, these are two really good sources to find out about them. Again, you don't have to write these down. You can download this in a minute. All right, we're almost done. And my screen just went away. Nice. That's why I normally use Keynote. All right, let's try this again. All right. Load Microsoft. Yeah, write all these down. Oh, good Lord, I really have that many slides. I just kept writing them and writing them. Getting there, distributions. Okay, Twitter. Yep. DistroWatch, Drupal DistroWatch. So the official one is the top one, the second one is the third party one. All right. So perhaps you've heard of Twitter. These are some of the main Twitter accounts you might want to follow. The official one is fairly active. Drupal Association has their own. DrupalCon if DrupalCon comes up, that's a good one. Drupal modules and Drupal themes are kind of cool to just throw in your TweetDeck feed because they let you know every time a new module's been released. And every once in a while, I just kind of keep an eye on it. And I go, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Pop over. You wouldn't normally go search on these modules. You don't go every day just to see what's new been released. That kind of just gives you a little feed of it. And of course, WebChick and Dries have their own pretty interesting ones. If you can use TweetDeck or something like that, you can just have a search on hashtag Drupal, and it will just keep a running list of Drupal things. And that's part of my feed over there is on Drupal. Now, there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of spam for people, auto tweeting bots. There's also good information in there as well. All right, you want to go really hardcore now?
What's the hashtag to?
Drupal?
All the Drupal stuff.
This one here?
Can Drupal.
Yeah. That just kind of identifies an individual subject in Twitter. Anybody use Internet Relay Chat, IRC? One guy. This is going a little bit deeper. So at any point you can log into, and Drupal.org/IRC will give you all the gory details of how to do this. But this was on my Drupal client a couple weeks ago. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of people out there lurking, and then every once in a while you'll see oh my God, my site's on fire. What do I do? Seriously, that's what this guy was talking about. I've just lost everything. What do I do? And maybe one or two guys will pop up, and all underneath are all the different specific ones. I mean, the most action is on Drupal, but there's specific ones down there if you want to talk about specific topics. It's worldwide. All the Drupal developers, hundreds of Drupal developers at any one time are on here. And don't go on there. Don't go on one of the main Drupal ones and be too newbie. Because they'll just they'll go, hey, go to support or go to Drupal Noobs or something. So, but it's a great place to just sit and lurk and watch and just kind of run. And if you have, every once in a while you want to throw out a question, once you kind of understand the lay of the land, this is a good place to go. But it is definitely up there on the nerd level. So we're almost done. One particular page of information that kind of gives you the status of where Drupal 8's going. This one particular node. They probably should have aliased that to something more interesting, but I imagine the new Drupal 8 core, maintainer is going to be putting a lot more information on here, but Angie and other people have been putting information on it. This is just a good site if you want to know what's going on with 8. It's a good page to just kind of check back every week or two and see what's going on with 8. All right, and that's the download. Questions? Is that enough information? Yes, sir.
Generic suggestion to develop. Somebody who's getting on board Drupal framework. I'm a GIS professional.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to use potentially the open layers and other aspects of it. What platform would you recommend to start with? Windows Apache, Windows IS, Linux Apache, or something that makes it easier
Right.
for all these stuff to.
Well, okay, so the question is what platform you use to start with, and I don't know that it's specific. He was asking about geolocation. I don't know if it's specific. We only use LAMP, and LAMP is probably 90 to 95% of the installations of Drupal are LAMP. LAMP is Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, versus say a Windows server with IIS and SQL Server. It works, especially in Drupal 7 it works. There's other databases you can use as well. It's just more difficult. Everything about working in Windows Server is more difficult in my experience. I've been doing Drupal about 4 years, and I won't even do Windows anymore.
And it depends on what you have access to, right?
Absolutely.
Depending upon
Your IT, your IT company. If you're at a company and they only support Windows, you're going to be on Windows. If you're going to go to a host, you can generally specify, down to the level of which Linux distribution you want. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I didn't want to get into Drush.
Do you know the location where you can install the easy land on your computer?
So it depends on which. The best thing to do is just go to aquia.com and download their environment. They have one for Windows, Mac, and Linux.
That's the bundle one, right?
Yeah,
That's got everything.
it has everything. Yeah, it has everything. I don't remember the exact URL for it, but that will get you a local installation.
I wanted to suggest a couple that I use is
Sure.
Bitnami. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Bitnami?
Bitnami. They have a whole
Haven't been
bunch
there.
of packages you just download it.
Okay.
You can do multiple installations on your machine. It has the LAMP and everything else on there, whatever version.
Okay. Bitnami is a source. I haven't used that before.
And another one, Turnkey Linux.
Turnkey Linux, yeah, sure. A lot of ISPs will have a package that you can just install Drupal by clicking on a button. You don't learn too much like that. I would suggest just going to Drupal Gardens and playing there, and then eventually you're going to want to bring it in and understand how it's installed.
When you bring it in, Google Docs, you got to set up your framework locally or replicate it.
Yeah, I mean, that gets into whole things of deployment. And I mean, you can, if you have shell access and FTP access, you can just push it out somewhere and install it on your own. And if you go to that site building guide, they'll take you through those steps.
So that includes your, the content plus the code base of the Drupal 7 itself?
It doesn't usually include any content. It'll just be a base installation of it. Some of the new distributions, like the distribution that we're coming out with for 7, is going to have the ability to add content in. Because sample content really helps you understand how the site's laid out. Any more? Yes?
So the major sites that you have on showcase class.com, are they going to be built in Drupal 6 or just such?
It's probably a mixture.
Okay.
I don't know that they even identify. I don't know if they have a thing in there to separate them at the moment. Yeah, I don't think there is. It's hard to tell sometimes which one it is. Sure. All right, thank you all.